The trial of the Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki at the Code of Conduct Tribunal over alleged false declaration of assets has been adjourned to January the 17th for continuation of hearing. At the resumed hearing of the case, the prosecution counsel Rotimi Jacob concluded his re-examination of the first principal witness, Michael Wetkas, over the ownership of a property at number 15 MacDonald Road, Ikoyi, Lagos, which is also said to belong to the Senate President. The defense counsel, represented by Mr. Paul Usoro, however, insists that the evidence of the witness is of no effect on the allegations against Dr. Bukola Saraki. Staying with legal matters now, one of the judges accused of bribery to pervert the course of justice, Justice Ademola, has pleaded not guilty to an amended 16-count charge of corruption and illegal possession of firearms and ammunition at the resumed hearing of the case at the Abuja High Court. The prosecutor had, during the last proceedings, applied for permission to amend the charges to include a third defendant and some additional proof of evidence. At the proceedings, Justice Jude Okeke granted the requests, as the accused all pleaded not guilty to the charges.
Justice Ademola and his wife are standing trial for allegedly collecting bribes to pervert justice and illegal possession of firearms. At the previous proceedings, the prosecution had asked the court to grant a request to amend the charges to include a third defendant, a request that the court granted. Having amended the charges, Justice Ademola, his wife, and the third defendant, Mr. Joe Agi, a senior advocate of Nigeria, are now standing trial on a 16-count charge bordering on corruption. All the accused persons pleaded not guilty when the amended charges were read to them. However, while counsels to the defendants expressed some reservations to the amended charges, the prosecutor says it has no negative effects on the trial.
The matter was first mentioned in court on the 13th of December 2016, and on that day they withdrew the earlier charge they had and supplanted it with a new charge. Today, there was an amendment to that second charge, and midway into the proceedings, there was a third amendment. So we hope that the prosecution wouldn't come with the gimmick of piecemeal criminal trial, because the defendants haven't done any wrong, and they are very willing and ready to demonstrate their innocence.
He should have been on the charge from inception, but he wasn't in the country for about 2 months. I think he only arrived about 2 weeks ago. That's why we decided to put him on the charge, so we can reflect the entire transaction before the court.
Meanwhile, the court also granted the third defendant bail on self-recognition, but he is to deposit his traveling passport with the court. The case was adjourned to January the 16th, 2017 for further hearing.
The members of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign are out on the streets again to draw attention to what they call the increasing effect of bad governance and corruption in the country. The group, which reconvened earlier on today at the Unity Park, is clamoring for better governance while calling on the authorities to probe all office holders accused of corruption. She says the group is also pressing for the return of the remaining Chibok girls, and that's the co-convener of the group, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. Yesterday, the BBOG campaign focused on better welfare for soldiers in the northeast.
It's day 4 of the protest march by members of the Bring Back Our Girls group to mark the non-release of the remaining 195 girls who've remained in the hands of the abductors for over 1,000 days. Again, from the Unity Fountain, the march commenced, but not without the protection of members of the Nigeria Police Force. Their message for the day is clear: end corruption and bad governance.
We are marching against corruption and bad governance. We all know the reason why our girls were taken was because of corruption and bad governance. And so when we said to the president, he should act now, we want more results. What we are saying, apart from bringing back our Chibok girls, is to act on corruption, is to act on bad governance. We want results. We want corruption that is holistically fought for.
Members of the group promised to continue their demand for more action in the fight against corruption. This, according to them, will go a long way to hasten the release of the remaining abducted girls.
The Nigerian military that we all know what it can do, that has shown its might in the world, running away from some bands of terrorists. That was the darkest moment in the history of Nigeria as far as we know. But we said never again would we allow that happen, because we continue to march against corruption. We will continue to march against bad governance. We will say no to corruption and no to bad governance.
More activities have also been lined up to mark the over 1,000 days of the Chibok girls with the abductors. For now, the campaigners are eager to see corruption reduced to the barest minimum in the interest of socio-economic development.
The Federal Executive Council has approved contracts for the completion of the Sabke water project in Daura, Katsina State at the cost of 1.73 billion naira. The Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, who briefed State House correspondents after the council meeting, frowned on the number of abandoned water projects in the country. The council also approved Nigerian citizenship for 345 out of 500 non-Nigerians who applied to become Nigerian citizens.
It is the second sitting of the Federal Executive Council meeting in the year, and water appears top on the list of projects approved by Council. Beyond the award of contract for the Sabke water project, a dam project in Katsina State at the cost of 1.735 billion naira, President Buhari and his men say they are worried that 117 water projects are lying uncompleted across the country.
Under my ministry,
Minister of Water Resources speaks about the projects and his areas of priority.
When I assumed office in November 2015, I inherited 117 ongoing and abandoned projects. I inherited liability of 89 billion naira. That's money claims by contractors waiting to be paid, and a total projection of another 250 billion to complete those 117 ongoing projects. So our task has been to concentrate more on completing some of these projects. So we set out to do a technical audit early last year on these projects, based on which we prioritize them, top priority, high priority, medium priority, and low priority.
Also approved by Council is citizenship for 335 non-Nigerians who applied either by naturalization or registration. Minister of the Interior says 245 of them are by naturalization, while 90 are by registration.
The last time this was done was in 2013. So we had some backlog of these applications. We have over 500 applicants, 500 applications that we considered. Out of these 500 applications, 335 in total were recommended.
Council also considered the need for information system for the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development and the upgrading of software facilities for the operations of the PENCOM. Chukuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
The dust raised following the legislative rerun elections in Rivers State is yet to settle, as a panel set up by the police to investigate the fallout of the polls is currently visiting the state. Meanwhile, the state governor has expressed lack of confidence in that panel. This will be the second time that the governor will be sending a strong message to the IGP voicing his concerns. Mr. Nyesom Wike had written a letter to the IGP on the matter. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ire reports.
There is uneasy calm as Governor Nyesom Wike arrives to attend to the chairman and members of the Special Joint Investigation Panel on the rerun elections in the state. The look on their faces suggests that this will not turn out to be a mere courtesy call.
We have terms of reference. Examine the role of any police officer or security agent whose actions or activities, individually or collectively, was detrimental to the good conduct of the elections. To conduct a forensic analysis on the audio reports released by Sahara reporters.
A visibly upset governor expresses his disapproval to the panel. He says it does not have confidence in their investigation.
We believe that the panel is already biased. We believe that the panel has already taken a decision, and we were convinced that the essence of the panel is just to witch hunt some people, and we have evidence to show.
Attempts by the chairman of the panel to make another remark is turned down.
And you cannot have a protocol to do the 13th section. If one section, you get the governor.
The chairman and members of the investigation panel moved to the headquarters of the River State Police Command to give an account of how far they've gone in the past 3 weeks.
The commander of the SAS team was interviewed by us. We equally interviewed those that were captured in that very video clip. The very persons who were INEC officials who were directing the SACS officers were equally interviewed. We've gotten the blueprint of what transpired in that very video clip.
The panel is, however, expected to make an official submission in the course of investigation. Many believe there is need to ensure that all the facts are adequately represented. Emmanuel Ere, Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, Nigeria's December 2016 headline inflation expected to trim down to 18.3%. And that's on Business News. Please stay with us.